So nice.
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to the May 12, 2026 regular meeting of the Jackson Township Council. Pursuant to the provision of the New Jersey's Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting on January 9th for publication. Note of this meeting of the Township Councils will post in the corridor of the municipal building, on the Township website, and in the office of the municipal clerk. We'll begin with a roll call. Councilman Borelli?
Here.
Councilman Bressi? Absent. Councilman Pollock?
Here.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Present.
Council President Bernstein?
Here.
Also attending this evening is Mayor Kuhn, Attorney McGuckin, Administrator Tarafanko, Veronica Dagner, and myself, Sandra Martin. The next item on the agenda is the proclamation portion. Council President Bernstein?
So I'm going to ask Council Vice President to read the first proclamation, but I just want to say a special thank you. I've had the opportunity of knowing our current superintendent for probably about 6 or 7 years when she was, I think, one of the assistant superintendents initially. I've always found Nicole, as I like to call her, to be a listening ear, someone who always made her decisions based on fact, and always thought through her decisions before she made them. She had the opportunity in being in charge of the district during a very difficult time financially for the district, and I know she really, really put her entire heart into the entire district, all children here in Jackson. It's a unique district, and you will be missed. So lots of luck in your retirement, and it's an honor to have you here. I also just want to take a moment and recognize, I saw 2 Board of Ed members here. It could be there's someone else in the crowd, but I'm not going to say names in case I miss anyone, but I just want to welcome some of our Board of Ed members who are here tonight also to recognize our superintendent, and Assemblyman Sawicki, who's here also for a couple things, but also to recognize Ms. Permilli. Council Vice President.
Thank you, Council President. So tonight we recognize and thank Nicole Permilli for her years of dedicated service to our students, families, and staff of Jackson Township. As someone who personally served on the Jackson Board of Education, including as board president, I had the opportunity to work alongside Superintendent Permilli during some very challenging times for our school district. Throughout those years, she consistently demonstrated professionalism, steady leadership, and a deep commitment to doing what was best for our students. Public education is not an easy field, especially during times of financial uncertainty and difficult decisions. Yet Superintendent Permilli remained focused on supporting our schools, our educators, and our children. On behalf of Jackson Township Council and the residents of Jackson, I want to sincerely thank her for her dedication and service to our community. We wish her nothing but success, happiness on her well-deserved retirement. I hope you enjoy. And we have this recognition here for you, and I'd just like to read it aloud. In recognition of distinguished service, for your unwavering dedication, leadership, and commitment to our students, families, and community of Jackson Township, your impact will be felt for generations to come. With sincere gratitude and best wishes on your retirement. If you can, please come up, and I'd like to ask my council colleagues as well as the mayor to join us as we present this to Superintendent Permilli.
The next item on the agenda is the Certificate of Achievement portion. Council President Bernstein?
So I want to ask Mayor Kuhn together with Assemblyman Sawicki if they can come up and honor the Lady Jacks.
Thank you. I just want to say a couple of words real quick. Congratulations to Jackson Jaguar girls wrestling team, an absolute incredible accomplishment in becoming the first ever NJSIAA girls wrestling state team champions. The entire Jackson community is extremely proud of each and every one of you for your hard work, dedication, determination, and the way you represented our township on such a historic stage. You didn't just win a championship, you made history and proved why Jackson continues to be recognized as one of the premier wrestling communities in the state. Your teamwork, toughness, and commitment were all on full display at Rutgers, and this is a moment that our community will remember for years to come. Congratulations to the coaches, the athletes, and the families who helped to make this historic achievement possible. Jackson is very proud of you.
Go Jags.
And I just want to add, Assemblyman Clifton was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, something came up at the last minute, but Assemblyman Sawicki is representing both of them. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Oh, wait. I thought this was a little light. This is our RTC. Thank you. So as your name's called, you're going to just come up. The Assemblyman and myself will give you something.
Okay.
And then, because they have all the names.
Amy Alvarado.
Yeah. I don't know if
I'm just gonna read it. Ava Bello. Anaya Behringer. Okay. Olivia Bonilla. Couple of them. Ava Bonilla.
Ava also got 4th place in the state tournament, so congratulations.
Ella Boyko. Nicole Cirillo. Lily Klaus. Grace Cruz. Taylor Curatola. Grace Daught. Marlo Donato, who also took 3rd place at the state tournament. Ariana Dugo. Also a state qualifier this year. Congratulations. Guadalupe Alonso Lopez. Brianna Duga, who also took 3rd place at the state tournament. Kaylee Ferraria. Jada Figueroa. Victoria Ford. Capri Gibson.
Yep.
Mariah Gonzalez. Aubrey Harvey. Paige Little. I got you. Jada Maximiliano. Elsie McGinley. Melissa Monfil Salazar. Alani Mora. Denise Munez. Salen Nunez Padilla. Gianna Palmieri. Anna Rucci. Madison Rucci took 5th place at the States. Victoria Tandari, 7th place at the States. Riley Thorne. Leslie Valdez Robles. My assistant coach, Gwen Bassinet. Another assistant coach, Romeo Perriot. Excellent assistant coaches, Taisha Ramirez and Diana Stritsky, my 2 rocks. And then head coach, me, Joe Lemke. Thank you.
So this is also not only the head coach, he's 2026 Coach of the Year. So we want to give a great congratulations. Well deserved, well deserved. Congratulations. No, of course. I'll help you. There you go. Council, if you want to come down, or, oh, you're going to do the picture?
Okay.
Clerk?
Thank you. The next item is a certificate of achievement for Jackson ROTC.
Mayor Kuhn?
Thank you, Council President. So I just wanted to say a few words. I got an email a couple weeks ago regarding the Jackson High School ROTC program. And I'd just like to take a moment to recognize the outstanding achievement of this Jackson Memorial High School. This past weekend on April 18th, the ROTC team made a historic by earning 1st place overall for the very first time, an incredible achievement that deserves to be recognized and celebrated by our entire community. Just so people understand, I received an email through the portal for Civic Plus of somebody from the state that wanted to recognize our Memorial, our high school students in the ROTC and what an accomplishment. So that is where these words are coming from, and I think it's really, really inspiring. These students demonstrated leadership, discipline, teamwork, and demonstrated throughout the competition, bringing home not only the overall championship, but also 5 additional awards recognizing various skills and events, including rope bridge building. I especially want to recognize student leader Riley Coy, who helped lead this team to a victory. I understand that at one point she was told she may not make it as far because she was a young woman. Instead of allowing those words to discourage her, she proved that hard work, dedication, confidence, and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. Riley and the entire ROTC team have made Jackson proud. They have shown what can be accomplished throughout teamwork, resilience, and commitment to excellence. On behalf of Jackson Township, congratulations to the ROTC students, instructors, parents, and everyone who supported this remarkable achievement. Your success reflects the very best of the community, and we are incredibly proud of you. Please, if everybody can include me in an applause for them. It's really great to get an email like that. Hello, hello. Just tell them about your name and your team.
Oh, sure. So I'm Senior Master Sergeant Megan Cotter. I'm one of the instructors for junior ROTC at the high school, Jackson Township. And then we have Colonel Spare in the back. I don't want him to hide and not be shown as well, our other instructor. So he's a senior aerospace science instructor. And because of Colonel Spare is why we do these competitions. So he introduced a fitness competition. So most people think of the military and they think of drill. And so we do take part in fitness competitions as well. And that's where we were awarded these trophies and everything. And because of all of these actions that these students did is why we're here. So,
Thanks.
yeah, of course.
So here, you say the name. Then
Got it. Okay. Cadet Amber Aguas Vivas.
Not here?
No.
That's okay. We're used sometimes. Just a couple like.
Cadet Arda Angus.
Here. Come on over here.
Cadet Colin Thompson. Not here. All right, Cadet Irini Ibrahim. Cadet Jorge Perez. This is our cadet group commander. Cadet Michael Petio. Cadet Riley Coy. Cadet Rosario Polina. Cadet Valentino Celeste. Cadet Romualdo Fiorilli.
So Romualdo, I'm also going to be seeing you on June 14th for your scouts. I'm super excited. Congratulations, all in all. Great job. Great job. And then you'll get these to the. Yes. Okay. Come on. Assemblyman? You want to say something? You said you wanted to say something? Just in the picture?
Everybody, I just wanted to say congrats to the ROTC. I've had the luck of coming across this group several times over the last couple of months. They make Jackson proud at every event they're at. I happen to serve on the Assembly Military and Veterans Affairs Committee, so I'm a big supporter of what you guys are doing and couldn't be prouder. Thank you. Congratulations.
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 Madam Clerk, we're going to take a 3-minute break. Everyone feel free to stay, and then we'll continue the meeting in 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm going to keep my comments brief. I just want to take a moment and thank our code enforcement and our business administrator and our legal team. We met this past Friday to talk about some of our rental concerns and the property manager ordinance in particular. And there are multiple people who are operating as, I'll call property managers in Jackson, who obviously complained. And I guess the ordinance is working. If it requires certification, licensing, and ensuring that people who are practicing here in Jackson are following the law and making sure that they understand the importance of our municipal ordinances. Additionally, I just want to take a moment and really ask all my council members. I think we had said about the last meeting, and we're looking, there's going to be some modifications to our housing ordinances. If anyone has any ideas, we like to introduce any modifications in June. So if you have any suggestions, anything that you're hearing is not working, to reach out to myself, the business administrator, and obviously our attorney, and see what we can come up with. So thank you. That's it for tonight.
Council Vice President Palmieri.
Good evening, everyone. Over the past several days, I have received several messages and phone calls from parents who have expressed concerns regarding an easement located directly across the street from Johnson and Crawford Elementary School. And I understand that this is a public easement. And to be clear, this is not about restricting anyone's use of it, but rather ensuring that there is a fair, mutual understanding so that all parties involved feel safe, respected, and comfortable moving forward. And rest assured, it's something that Council President and myself are working on, and we'll have more to come in the future of the resolution to this. Thank you.
Councilman Bradley.
Thank you, Clerk Martin. I wanted to say congratulations to the young ladies that were here and their coaches, as well as the ROTC members that were here. The ladies wrestling team, they are #1, and don't mess with them. Like your parents, Jackson is very proud of them. And like their parents, I mean, they left, right? I don't, maybe some of them are still in the audience, I don't know. But Jackson's very proud of them and their accomplishments. And I hope they keep up the great work and sportsmanship. Have a good evening. Thanks.
Councilman Pollock.
Good evening. I always have stuff to talk about. I was going to speak about last meeting's claims of grandstanding, the dismissive comments about conflicts of interest, and I have a long issue. I have a long list of issues I take on here, a record of fighting for this town and my principles, and I've only been here a short period of time. And there's a long list of conflicts that are affecting this town, but I'd like to focus on other things tonight. All right, I would like to start by saying Mortimer Wortman is still missing. His friends and family still don't have answers, and I want to urge all levels of government and law enforcement to help look deeper into this. People all over New Jersey and Staten Island, please, if you saw anything or know anything, please speak up. Next, there's been a lot of comments about a giant trash heap on West Commodore. Had spoke to our business administrator about it. Code enforcement was on top of it. They did issue a notice of violation, and from my understanding, some of that has been moved already. I know we have a budget presentation tonight, which is great. I'd like to request, though, that we open comments to the public, because some people here may have some comments. I think that would be a great thing to show transparency. And, you know, now, I've heard from many residents who are concerned about an approval on North New Prospect Road. I got a bunch of emails, a bunch of people contacting me. First off, this is a high-intensity use in the middle of a block in a residential area. That's not supposed to be allowed. Jackson Police Traffic Unit advised against it. Fire officials had 20 comments to be addressed. School officials have concerns about traffic safety. These are all real concerns about safety, traffic, quality of life, and the impact this type of development is having on our town. Parents are worried about children walking to school safely. Residents are worried about increased traffic near school routes and emergency access areas. I have to say, the planning of our town feels more like the gradual destruction of the character, safety, and quality of life that made people want to live in Jackson in the first place. Up here, I will continue to air the concerns of our residents. I want to let you know I am working with the Jackson Conservation Coalition to figure out how to deal with data centers. We'll have more information coming soon. Tonight on the agenda, I'm very glad we're taking action on some of the things I ran on, like development fees. I did come here to tear this government down, but I also came here to make things better and make a positive difference. There's always a lot of talk about enforcement in this town. There's also a concern about selective enforcement. Many people believe some people with connections can get away with things others can't. When residents see buildings operating without proper approvals or certificates of occupancy, while at the same time government moves to change rules, grant approvals, or accommodate the same situation, it damages public trust. People want equal enforcement. When you have boards bending the rules to push through development that they don't have to say yes to, people have to question what's really going on. People want to know the rules apply the same way to everyone, regardless of influence, connections, or political pressure. We don't need fake representatives or hypocrites. We need real people that are not connected to the money and special interest. To all those people with money, power, and influence who have been and still are shaping our town in a way that doesn't benefit the majority of people who live here, I want to say this directly. I'm here to stand against you. While I'm pessimistic about our present, I am optimistic about the future. There's a major shift going on, and people are waking up to the scam of government and the party system. I see change coming. People are standing up and fighting back. They are fed up, and there are people who want real change and won't give in to special interest or dirty money. I have to say it straight. Politicians are prostitutes. We need people in government who are not willing to sell themselves for money, influence, donations, positions, or jobs. We need more brave, principled people that will run, win, and truly serve the people. I think my disdain for all this is evident every time I'm up here, but I have to say the support from people has been incredible. I'm grateful for all of it, and I will keep fighting for all the wonderful people that feel just like I do. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is comments by Administrator Tarafanka.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I have a statement I'm going to read on behalf of Mayor Kuhn in her absence. She asked me to share a few remarks this evening regarding several important quality of life initiatives taking place throughout Jackson Township. First, on affordability, Jackson Township continues to defend Ordinance 2026-6, which was adopted to strengthen protections for residents living in manufactured housing communities, many of whom are seniors or individuals on fixed incomes. The ordinance limits annual rent increases to 2.5% and requires a thorough review through the township's rent control process and increased transparency for residents regarding rental charges and fees. The ordinance also includes important enforcement measures and gives residents the ability to seek relief through the Rent Leveling Board when appropriate. While the ordinance is currently being challenged in court, the township remains committed to defending the protections that were put in place for the residents and continuing efforts to keep Jackson affordable for families, seniors, and taxpayers alike. The same commitment to affordability is reflected in the municipal budget, which was introduced at the last council meeting, and you'll find a more in-depth analysis tonight at the budget presentation. Most notably, it includes a 0% municipal tax increase. The township continues to focus on responsible financial management while maintaining essential services for residents. Next, the focus is on public safety. It remains one of the township's highest priorities. Jackson is proud to support the dedicated members of our police department and first responders who work every day to protect the community. This past weekend, representatives from the township attended the Police Unity Kickoff Tour hosted here in Jackson, honoring fallen law enforcement officers and recognizing the sacrifices made by those who serve. We are also proud to share that Jackson Police Department has now reached the highest staffing level in its history following recent new hires. Maintaining a safe community and supporting the men and women in uniform will continue to remain a top priority. Another important quality of life initiative is maintaining a clean and healthy community. This Sunday, May 17th, Jackson Township will host the first community litter-free Jackson cleanup. Hundreds of volunteers, including many families, have already signed up to participate and help beautify our town. Township is extremely appreciative to the residents, volunteers, organizations, and community partners stepping up to support this effort. We also would like to thank Six Flags Great Adventure for partnering with Jackson Township and providing complimentary park admission tickets for volunteers participating in this cleanup. Finally, community engagement continues to play an important role bringing residents together. The Recreation Department continues to provide outstanding programs and events for residents of all ages and preparations are already underway for the 50th annual Jackson Day event to be held on August 23rd. This milestone event represents decades of community pride, tradition, togetherness, and we look forward to celebrating with residents later this summer. Mayor Kuhn and the entire township team remain committed to improving the quality of life throughout Jackson by focusing on affordability, public safety, community pride, and opportunities to bring residents together. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening. On behalf of Mayor Kuhn.
The next item on the agenda is an update from the Department of Public Works. Council President Bernstein.
Thank you, Clerk Martin. Public Works crews have completed bulk pickup in Zone 5 and brush collection in Zone 4, beginning May 8th.
Is it technical difficulty? There we go. Okay. Okay, so as you know, it was an arduous task putting the budget together. I know a great team was put together along with the mayor and business administrator and the team that he created. I wanted to give a little background on the budget process itself. I'm going to try to. Are we too far away?
Ms. Tolman, maybe take a second mic and then have Tony. Yeah.
Okay, so the state is responsible for dictating, our budget process. So basically, we put the budget together based on our operational needs. And once that budget is created, we are going to send it to the state for review. The Division of Local Government Services is going to check for mathematical accuracy, making sure that we're compliant with all of the cap laws, which, our budget is. If you have any new revenues, they're going to want to see support of those items. They're going to check your surplus utilization to make sure that the amount of surplus you're using is actually available for you to use. And then they're going to look at your debt and your reserve compliance. Sometimes they have questions. So there's the self-review, which I believe that we are under, where they will do a cursory review of the document. And then there's every 3 years, you're under state review, where they do a more intensive look. At any point, they can come back with questions, make recommendations, and require us to do corrections. So they oversee not only the budget, but the financial statements and the audits, as well as all of these documents tied together. I think you got it pointed over there.
Can we just do it manually from the computer?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's
perfect.
probably the best thing to do. So there are two principal components of the budget. So we have the operational budget, and then you have a capital budget. And that capital budget is just a plan. It's not anything that anyone is tied to. It could be amended at any time. But the operating budget is obviously the most important piece that we are dealing with. It is broken down into two categories, which is your salary and wages and other expenses. And the caveat to that for New Jersey law is that they have to equal. So your budget expenditures and your appropriations and your revenues have to equal. The revenues are going to include your fund balance surplus. They're going to include property taxes. Obviously, those are your two biggest financial ways of supporting your operational needs. State aid, and then miscellaneous revenues such as uniform construction fees, your court revenues, any interest on investments, and any shared service income. And then your appropriation side is going to include, obviously, your salary and wages, all other expenses. So that's all the other operational expenses of each department. Then you have statutory appropriations, such as your pension costs. You have health insurance, payroll taxes. We have utilities, any capital improvements, and finally, debt service. So that is the component of the municipal budget. But when we do collections, we're actually collecting for other entities. So we are responsible for collecting for the county, for the Board of Education, and for any special districts, with specifically to Jackson, you have fire districts. When we collect that money, we need to collect 100%. We need to pay those entities 100%, regardless of how much you collect. So with that in mind, and the requirement that the state puts on us is that we have to also have a non-spending appropriation in the budget, which is called the Reserve for Uncollected Taxes. So basically, when your financials are done, we take a look at what your percentage of collections were, and we have to put an appropriation into the budget so that essentially you're going to be made whole. So we will collect 100% by putting that additional reserve into the budget. And that's for cash flow purposes, because we do have to pay those entities all of their money regardless of how much we collect. Okay, so with that said, what is the total amount of the levy? So this is an estimated levy that I have up here based on the school. We know what their levy is. I don't have 100% what the county is. We have the fire districts. So when you look at this pie chart, you will see the percentages that are collected in the tax office and what portion actually goes to do the operations of the municipality, which out of all of the money we collect, 16 0.74% of anyone's tax bills is used to support all of the services that are provided. So your police, your DPW, construction, all of those services are supported on 16% of your tax bill. All the rest of the money goes to different agencies. So now when we created the 2026 budget, or any year budget for that matter, the mayor and administration were looking ahead to 2027, to that budget cycle, and are cautiously optimistic regarding the financial position that this budget will put us in for next year, right? So based upon current projections, it's anticipated that we will still have a healthy surplus remaining at the end of 2026, while continued operations throughout 2026 are expected to also regenerate additional surplus to help offset future tax impacts. Several of the developing factors are expected to positively influence the township's financial outlook, right? So we had the establishment of the Bureau of Housing, and that is anticipated to improve the oversight and administration of rental properties and landlord compliance, while also creating additional revenue opportunities through the registration, inspection, and enforcement activities. In addition, the township continues to pursue more aggressive municipal lien collection efforts. So we all know about that tremendous amount outstanding of about $14 million that are in municipal liens. And so, the goal is to recover as much of that money as we can in cash, right? That's ultimately the goal. We want to collect the money, not necessarily gain a property, and return those delinquent properties to good standing and strengthen the overall cash flow and collection rates of the municipality. We also, with this tremendous, snow events that we had in 2026 so far to date, that, we have made application to FEMA to get some reimbursement for the $3 million+ that were spent. I know that good records were kept of everything that was spent. Everything was sent over, and now it's in the state hands. We have no guarantee that what we'll get, but we did submit for that. So we're also looking at some growth in tax rateables, as there are several redevelopment and construction projects that are expected to come online, and that will help to broaden the tax base and help to redistribute the cost of municipal services across the additional assessed value. So while the economic conditions and inflationary pressures and state mandated costs continue to present a challenge, the combined efforts that have been made are intended to strengthen the long-term fiscal stability and reduce future reliance on taxation to support municipal operations. So there is a lot of thought that goes into creating each year's budget. This year, we're looking at a 0% levy increase. It actually decreased slightly, although, just as a spoiler alert and a disclaimer, just because the levy amount may have been reduced slightly does not mean that your tax bills will be reduced, simply because the assessed valuation overall increases. So as I get through this and you see what the estimated increase is in municipal, it's negligible, but it's a misnomer to see, well, geez, the tax levy went down. How come my tax bill isn't going down? And that's the reason, because it is directly correlated to your assessed valuations. So you can see here's a snapshot from 2020 through 2026. And we really, the levy has been, for the past 7 years, I would say has been at a very, very slow growth rate. This is a snapshot of your table of aggregates. This can be found in your tax duplicate. This is a breakdown. I know it's very small and hard to see, but this is a breakdown of all of the taxable properties in the township. So every every town in the state is required to use the same system of labeling. All real property has a code. And so you'll see that there's vacant land, how many properties there are there, and then residential, farm, regular farm, qualified. And it's going to give you a value for each of those different classifications of properties. And so your overall total assessed valuation is $14,457,741,000. Again, this page can be found in the tax duplicate available at the municipal tax collector's office. When the user-friendly budget is submitted with the adopted budget, this information is also listed on there. And it's also going to be available with this presentation that will be posted online. So anybody that has interest in that will be able to look at that. Here's a snapshot of just the property class breakdown in percentages, right? So that you have a general idea of how the properties are broken down from vacant land to residential, which is the highest component, and your commercial. So this will give you a snapshot of, how your town is, how it's classified. Next, we have just a overview of the proposed budget that was adopted for introduction, or approved for introduction, I should say. And it just gives an overall snapshot of the anticipated revenue. So we have miscellaneous anticipated revenue. I haven't had enough tea tonight. Of $13,825,276 and change. We have receipts from delinquent taxes. So as I mentioned before, with the reserve for uncollected taxes, so we have an amount that we reserved in the prior year, and then we collected those taxes we'll collect them in the current year. So, and then of course the fund balance, which is the surplus amount that we'll be using, and then the amount to be raised by taxation. So the total overall budget is $62,854,306.58. Appropriations. So we have our salaries and wages, which are slightly over $29 million, your statutory expenses, your debt service, reserve for uncollected taxes, and all other expenses. So again, as I mentioned, the revenues and the appropriations have to balance. So here is, again, a snapshot of how those expenses are broken down even further. So the page before is less categories. And then this, I broke it down just a little bit more to get a general idea of the different components of your government and what it costs to run each. And then the costs that are, typically out of our control: utilities, insurance, statutory costs. Those are all things that we have zero control over. They are what they are, and we are subject to pay them. So this year's budget, and the one thing that is buried in there that should probably be a separate line would be, Mother Nature, acts of, the weather event that, or several weather events that we had that added an additional $3+ million to our budget that, we didn't anticipate coming. So overall, you can see what the biggest costs are and the value that you are, getting for it. Okay, so a comparison from last year to this year. So again, the levy, you can see that there's a slight decrease in the amount of the levy from last year to this year. The tax rate is remaining the same. And that's where you get the difference You don't see the savings on your tax bill. The property valuations. So the average valuation actually increased slightly, about $1,500 or so per property. So that the average tax on the properties, on an average property last year was $1,653.44. And now this year we'll be at $1,654.97, which is $1.53 anticipated increase on your municipal tax bill for 2026. And then the assessed valuation for the town overall, as well as the penny impact, which some people like to see, how much a penny will get you on your tax rate. Our tax rate didn't change, so there's no significance there. So just as a synopsis, or none of the pictures showed up. The proposed levy increase is 0%. And that means that there'll be an estimated annual tax increase on an average home that's valued at $654,131 of approximately $1.53. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Jenny and Matt. One thing I just wanted to point out, because I know you mentioned it, and I think it came up by the last meeting, by the last presentation, or the introduction, I'll call it, we had mentioned that there was zero, I mean, it was $7,000 or $9,000 left in the surplus, and you mentioned a little bit more now. What's that number? And I guess that was an error or something.
Hi, how you doing? Matt Holman, partner at HFA. We helped with the budget process, the auditors for the municipality. Just to clarify that question, there was a revision to the AFS that was made. As we go through the audit process, occasionally from time to time, there's a revision that's needed to the AFS. In this case, there were prior year encumbrances and accounts payable that were able to be canceled. Therefore, the AFS revision created a surplus balance of $11,555,468. So the amount of the surplus that's being utilized is still $9.4 million in the budget, but the amount of surplus that will be left after is now $2,155,000.
And then my last question for now, and then is bond rating. How does that? How does that work? I know we've always had a great bond rating until now. Do we anticipate continuing to maintain our? I think we're AA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
AA plus bond rating.
Yeah.
Is that going to affect it?
It won't immediately be affected. Your bond rating's reviewed every time that you go out for debt. When that process happens, there's a number of factors that will enter into that. One of the components that will enter into that is your percentage of fund balance utilized, how you've been able to regenerate your surplus over the years. So really the regeneration of the surplus will be more important, as long as the amount that's, in this example, if you're utilizing 9.4 million, you're going to be looking to want to regenerate at least that amount of money to maintain your fund balance levels.
And I guess last question on that. In 2025, what was the amount of surplus that was used?
Give me 1 second. I can give you the exact figure. Yeah, it's $8.9 million was utilized in the budget.
Okay. And let's say for the process now, I know we had asked if any council members, I think most of the council have reached out to our business administrator through the clerk to set up meetings with our finance team over the next week or so, 10 days. So we think we're definitely going to be calling on you to sit down and go through it. Additionally, I know the mayor sent an email about an hour ago to Mr. Tarafanko about setting up a meeting with, I think it was Carlos, Jim, and Joe back there, who are to get their input also, and look forward to engaging with council. And I guess we'll see over the next 2 weeks if this is the same in 2 weeks or it's different. So, and then what's the process? This goes to the state after the budget's adopted, or it goes for review now?
So it's already been sent to the state once you introduced it. So it's in their hands for now. They know the date that we're looking to adopt. And so it's, it's in their hands, and we'll wait and see what happens from there.
Okay, and how long does it take usually then to?
Well, so typically they are very good, and we'll get, the certification, like the day before we're supposed to adopt.
Oh, that's
But-
nerve-wracking.
But in all seriousness, there have been a lot of changes at the state, and I've been hearing from a lot of my colleagues that, that are under the regular review of the state, that they're still waiting. So I'm
Are we allowed
hopeful.
to adopt, but we can't adopt? So if
You
the state
cannot
doesn't get
adopt
back
without
to
the
us,
certification. We're at their
Right.
mercy.
so if I
Yes.
tell you tentatively as of now, our next council meeting, which I think is the 9th of June, we obviously will work to that. If for some
Yes.
reason the state doesn't get back to us, then we have to push it off.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But I'm hopeful that they will.
Perfect, thank you. Any other council members? So I appreciate you guys coming down, and we look forward over the next 2 weeks. I can guarantee you with this council, you're going to be hearing from all of us. And Mr. Terrafranco, it's going to be a busy week, but we look forward to sitting down. And I've already heard some ideas from my colleagues. Obviously, you guys are the whiz. Matt, you've been doing this for a couple of years already here in Jackson. So we'll see you guys back here for sure by the next meeting, but between now and then also. So thank you. No, the public is going to be at the end of the meeting like we do regularly. This is a budget introduction. That's the way it's been always. That's the way we're doing it. Thank you. Yeah. Sandra?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-17, exceeding the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48-445.14. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. You bring a mic. And just to be clear, this is about this ordinance only. Public comment at the end of the meeting will be about any topic you want. Yeah, anything you want at the end of the meeting. That's at the end of the meeting. Yeah, we're getting there.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Just
here.
say your name.
Mark
You don't have to
Farrar.
swear.
Mark Farrar. And 40-year Jackson resident. And I just want to say that picture right there, and this is $400,000 of taxes since I moved here 40 years ago. That's how I used to feel about this town. Now, this town sucks. Thank you.
Anyone else in this ordinance? Council, Vice President?
I move to close the public forum on this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-17?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Since the last meeting, after reading further into the budget, even after hearing our budget people here tonight, still have great concerns about the budget, depleting almost all of our once healthy surplus to balance the budget, leaving only a little over $7,000 in our town savings. I'm voting no to more spending here with this ordinance until we get our town's budget and spending under control. Thank you.
Councilman Pollock?
You're welcome.
I'm going to be
Deserving.
voting no on this ordinance. Because there's a limit on how much the town can increase spending each year. This ordinance allows them to go beyond that limit and spend more than what's normally allowed. We've increased spending, we've increased services, and I don't think you fix that by raising the ceiling. You fix it by controlling the spending. You may have to make cuts somewhere. I know we are making cuts, but things have to be done responsibly with the future in mind. I'm a pretty fiscally conservative guy. I'm just a regular guy who's mindful of what I spend in my own life, and I think you should be even more mindful when it's somebody else's money. So I vote no on this today, and I do not want to keep raising the ceiling.
Thank you.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
As I said last time, things have gotten more expensive. We need to pay our bills. We don't want to default, especially with the bond rating, how good it is now, so I'm going to vote yes.
Council President Bernstein?
So before I vote, I'm going to ask our legal counsel a question here. What happens if we, at this point of the budget process, we don't raise our amount from 3.5?
If it's factored into the budget, then the budget cannot be adopted at the next public hearing. And the ordinance would have to be reintroduced if the township intends to utilize the cap bank.
And how do we, I guess, continue paying our operations?
Well, we're currently under a temporary operating budget, so it will come a point in time by the time of the scheduled public hearing on the budget, the township would not be in a position to pay bills.
Okay. So I'm going to vote yes, to be fiscally responsible. Yes.
So Greg, what happens now? It's a 2-2 tie, so
The ordinance does not pass.
we can't pay our bills?
No, as of right now, we are still operating under a temporary.
Ma'am, we're middle of a meeting.
Please.
Point of order, point of order.
The ordinance does not pass with a 2-2 vote.
Thank you. So I vote yes.
The next item on the agenda is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-18, amending Chapter 103-26.1, Schedule 18, speed limits to include an additional street to be subject to a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Carlos?
Carlos Martins. I'm on the zoning board, but I'm here as a citizen. Specifically, I'm here as a resident of this street. So I beg you, please pass this ordinance. 25 miles per hour. It's now 35. It's only 10 miles per hour. You can make the argument that, look, no people, they're not obeying the 35, they're not going to obey the 25. But I promise you, we have moms on this block that will make sure people obey the 25 miles per hour rule. Thank you.
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-18?
Motion?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-12, amending and supplementing Chapter 372, Article 3, entitled Street Openings. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You can come up. And just about this ordinance, public comment will be at the end. Okay, council?
Motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-12?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and this ordinance, I think, is something that other towns are going to be emulating and copying us in the near future. This requires that when anyone opens a street, they don't just do patchwork, and they actually do it curb to curb. And I think we're going to get more out of our streets will look nicer going forward, hopefully. So yes.
Motion carries. Next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2026-20, amending Chapter 244-12 of the Township Code with respect to development application fees. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments?
Yes, this ordinance, if adopted, would increase the application fees required to be paid by the applicants seeking major subdivision approvals in the township. It would also eliminate a previous cap of a maximum of $5,000 for major subdivision application. These fees are designated to offset the costs incurred by the township to process such applications. And I want to thank Councilman Pollock and Attorney McGuckin for working this through and putting this together because I think it's a great ordinance. So
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-20 on first reading and introduction and to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
You got a motion? Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Thank you to Councilman Pollock, and thank you to Council President Bernstein for bringing it to the agenda, and rest of the council and with the legal team to craft this ordinance. I think it's long overdue. Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Voting yes on this, I believe the taxpayer of Jackson should not be carrying the cost of massive development projects while developers stand to make hundreds of millions of dollars. We're updating application fees. There are costs the township incurs reviewing, processing, planning, legal work, and administering these applications. We don't want the burden to ever fall on the taxpayers. The most important part of this ordinance is removing the outdated $5,000 cap. There's no reason the residents of Jackson should be forced to absorb any cost from large developments that we don't really want in the first place. If a project requires substantial township resources, then the people profiting from that project should be paying the real cost, not the working families of Jackson. This is about fairness and protecting taxpayers. It's about making sure our town is not helping overdevelopment at the expense of the people who actually live here. And I'd like to explore more ways we can update development fees in this town. Thank you very much.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the payment of authorizations and the building claims. The following abstentions are from Councilman Borelli: NJS 13, DEL01, AET01, EYE01, STA 40, STA 78, and TRE 34. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments?
No.
May I have a motion to approve the bills and claims?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Thank you for reading them. I vote on, abstain on those that you had mentioned, and yes to the rest on there. Thank you.
Councilman Pollock?
All right. I vote no. I do a protest vote. Let's be honest. I don't hide that. It's symbolic. I have concerns about spending. They've hidden payments in there under labeling and under things, so you don't know exactly what they're spending it on. I think we need to be careful about what we spend. The funny thing is, someone sent an email to township employees saying I was voting against them because I voted no on the bills. What's even more interesting is that was the same email that was used to target and attack someone that was helping my campaign during last election. I don't know who would do that through last election and have access to employee emails. It's really strange. This town is a cesspool of deranged politics, to be honest, and it's a shame I have to deal with it. Thank you.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
I'm going to abstain from V0141780. Yes to the rest.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes and everything.
Motion passes. The next item of business is the consent agenda. Listed for tonight's consideration are resolutions 155 through 159, 2026, listed by title. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments?
Nothing for me. Does anyone from the public want any resolutions to be discussed before we?
Before we do that, Mr. Chairman, as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking back, based on the abstentions and the no vote, any vote to pay the bills that had one abstention, and since it was a no vote, does not pass because it would have been a 2-2 vote as a result. So anything that was abstained upon does not pass as far as the bills and claims are considered.
Can you let us know what that was? Whatever Councilman Borelli abstained from, what was it? Because now those bills are not getting paid.
Yes. NJS 113.
I just want to know what we're not paying for specifically.
My apologies. I have to look through the bills list and pull it.
I read it online. I don't have a paper copy of it, or I would read it. Yeah, sure. One of them is New Jersey Division of Motor Vehicles.
What? What is that exactly? I mean, I understand the perception.
NJS,
Okay.
NJS 13, New Jersey, that was the New Jersey Division of Motor Vehicles.
Is that
Aetna
like
Life
our
Insurance.
car registrations?
Motor pool, contractual, title transfer fees for 2026 Ford trucks. That was the first one.
The next
Second one
is-
was Aetna Life Insurance Company. That's insurance, Aetna claims.
Is that for our municipal employees?
I'm assuming, yes.
So we're not paying our insurance benefits for our municipal employees?
Correct. Mr. McCucken?
So, okay. Well, these are in direct correlation.
Yeah,
with-
yeah.
Okay.
We understand your
All right.
why you have to abstain. You have to abstain.
Okay. Okay, state, there it is. STA 78, that was state of New Jersey. Alias, I'm sorry, Elias, yeah. Alias Social Security cards. That was for the Reserve Forfeiture Trust, is what it's listed as. Treasurer, State of New Jersey, TRE 34. That was for vital fees. Due State New Jersey Vital Statistics.
Vision Care Insurance as well.
Yes, State Treasurer, STA 40, for training and education for, it looks like for someone in finance.
So we're not going to be able to pay the health benefits or vision benefits for our municipal employees or their families, just so everyone is aware. That's why every vote counts.
EYE 01, I think I don't know if I mentioned that. Also DEL 01, Dental Plan of New Jersey. That was for, yep.
So Mr. McGuckin, so what happens, obviously, we have a contractual obligation to, with our employees to have healthcare, right? When we don't pay our bills.
There will be a late notice in all likelihood and perhaps a penalty, but I am not aware of the particular terminology of the contract. I assume that if you pass it at your next meeting, you might be okay, but I don't know the answer to that without seeing the actual contracts.
Okay. Thank you. Cold politics. Yeah.
May we move on to the consent agenda?
Yes.
Thank you. Listed for tonight's consideration are resolutions 155 through 159, 2026, listed by title. May I have Council President Bernstein, are there any comments?
Madam Clerk, I'm just going to stop for a second. Councilman Pollack, I just got legal guidance from our attorney. Would you be able to reconsider your vote on those items that were mentioned?
Hold on.
What?
What was that?
Excuse me, we're middle of a meeting, and I'm asking Councilman Pollack
Hundreds of employees' health benefits.
a respectable question. I'm
No,
sorry.
listen,
I'm sure he didn't do this on
listen,
purpose.
listen.
I'm asking respectfully because I want to make sure our employees can get their health care tomorrow.
Listen. Tell me the specific ones that are for the health benefits, and I will give you a yes vote, 100%.
So,
Absolutely.
thank you, Councilman.
So for the record, the ones Councilman Borelli just mentioned were the health, vision, what was the other one?
Dental.
Motor
Vision,
vehicle,
Vision, motor
anything
vehicle.
payable to the state of
Treasurer.
New Jersey and the state agencies basically is what you abstained on, is that
Yes.
correct?
Because of my position.
Because of his
resident,
position.
yeah.
Correct.
I always abstain on those.
Do we need to do anything to reopen it for Councilman
No.
Pollack to revote?
He can, if he wishes to do so, he can
Yes.
amend his vote to allow for a yes vote on those items only.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay,
The numbers, right?
I do.
I think,
All right. I am going to vote yes on NJS 13, DEL 01, AET 01, EYE 01, STA 40, STA 78, TRE 34. That'll be a yes vote on those specific bills.
thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk? Thank you, Greg.
No, 100%. Thank you. No, I understand.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments?
No, I don't. Does anyone from the public have anything from any of those resolutions they want us to take off and explain? Or if not, we can just discuss it by the public. Just the resolutions at this point. Okay. Just it's not a public comment. You just tell us what you want us to discuss from there.
I just want to say that what Chris just did is
That's-
exactly the right thing to do, because he's not reprimanding innocent people who are at work. And I
So,
respect that. He's not ramming something down someone's throat like what's happening in the rest of this town.
this is not the public comment. Now we're on the resolutions. You can come back in a few minutes.
All right.
Which one do you want us to take off the agenda and discuss? I'm sorry, can I hear a little louder? 159? Sure. So 159, Business Administrator Terrifying, could you explain what 159 is and how that came about?
Sure. It's a shared service agreement with the Borough of Red Bank for services provided by our Human Resource Personnel Officer for 8 hours a week. She'll be working in Red Bank, and Red Bank will be reimbursing us a total of $2,500 a month for a period of 45 days.
And this Red Bank made the request from us, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and thank you, Jim. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Thank you. Just for clarification, we're removing 159.
We'll vote on it separately, yeah.
Thank you. May I have a motion to authorize the balance of the consent agenda, 155 through 158 resolutions?
Motion?
Councilman Borelli?
Clerk Martin, Resolution R156-2026, I just want to thank the resident for bringing that issue to our attention. I say yes on them. We're voting on 159-26 separately?
Yeah,
Okay, are we voting on it right now?
not yet.
Not yet? Okay. For the exception of Resolution 159-26, yes to the resolution, the other existing resolutions on the consent agenda. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and I also want to thank the resident who brought up, like Councilman Borelli said, 156. They're looking to put a new sign up, and obviously we don't have the ability to grant any waivers. We do have the ability to allow them to consider using the right of way. So I vote yes on 155 through 158.
Thank you. May I have a motion to authorize Resolution 159, 2026, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the Borough of Red Bank for Human Resource Management Services?
Motion?
Councilman Borelli?
I'd rather not do business in this way with the short-term shared services agreements, or in this case, do government in this way, but I'll vote yes on Resolution 159-26. I understand it's needed at this time, and it's necessary only because the town needs an HR person. And however, let me express my reservations on the record about the employee retention problems in town hall offices, particularly in the last year. It's very disconcerting, and something needs to change and quickly in that regard. Thank you.
I'm sorry, your vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Pollock?
I'm voting yes, but I am concerned about the employee turnover rate that we're seeing inside Town Hall and the mounting number of lawsuits that we're dealing with. Feels like repeated behavior, repeated complaints, and repeated departures. And now it's meaning more and more legal issues. So after a while, it stops looking like a coincidence and becoming a pattern. Let's hope we can change that. And this is a temporary fix to what's going on. Let's hope we can nail down solid people to stay and who want to stay and work within Town Hall. So yes for now.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Is Red Bank borrowing our HR?
So I just want to, I'm going to clarify. This is our town employee who's working for Jackson Township. The Red Bank reached out to us and asked us if they can borrow her. They don't have someone for HR. This is not Jackson reaching out to another town and borrowing someone for 6 weeks.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I vote yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and I also want to add part of, working in government is we want to have a working relationship with other municipalities. And so I appreciate all the towns that helped us, and I'm happy to in a limited level, to help out Red Bank. So I vote yes.
The next item on the agenda is the public comment.
So now I just want to clarify, anyone who wants to talk about anything, this is your opportunity. So you can come up to the mic, line up, and you have 5 minutes. You want to open it to the public?
At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council on the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, my name is Michelle, I'm from Jackson. We're worried about spending money. Now, I have some questions. I have
apologize,
some
yeah.
questions,
Sure.
okay? Now, this personnel person or HR person, they work for us.
Correct.
But out of all the HR people in this state, they want to borrow ours. Why? That's one. Number two, we're talking about spending money. We have consultants. You have a QPA that never steps foot in this building. But yet he's getting paid unbelievably just under the pay-to-play threshold of $16,999 when the threshold is $17,500. We have a budget consultant that came in to help with our budget. It is, again, it was supposed to be under $17,500 because I believe it was awarded as a non-fair and open because it wasn't over $17,500. Okay, we are now at $17,175. Until December, you have $325 left to pay this person. And then it goes above the pay-to-play threshold. There is nothing in your ordinance that's allowed a non-fair and open over $17,500. So that's one thing. You have a CFO that is a shared service that only has to be in this building for 4 hours, 4 consecutive hours a week, but only works 20 hours a week. But we're paying an outside service to run this town. Now, that is here, and that is why money is being spent on stuff, because no one will work here. Okay, now I have another question. We have a reimbursement to the clerk for $60. Can I ask what that reimbursement is for?
Sure. I'll let you finish your questions and I'll
Okay.
ask her to answer.
All right, so that is my questions. And I also want to just say this. I moved here from Kearney 31 years ago. I raised 2 small children from 2.5 and 5 to in their 30s. They both moved out of this town because they don't want to be here anymore because it's nothing like it used to be. So you took my tax dollars and their tax dollars, and you made this into a city that I moved out of. I drove here today looking at all the buildings that are going up, that little children aren't going to have the trees that my kids saw. They're not going to have the beautiful fall. They're not going to have the great spring because you're knocking down all the trees to put up buildings that are not needed. So please, when you're thinking about why the employees here aren't getting paid for their health insurance, think about the children that aren't growing up the way my kids did because you're making a city out of a township. Thank you.
So I just want to address the refund that you asked about the clerk. The clerk took I think it was a course online that she laid out her money, which is not the only employee who has done that, and she got reimbursed for it. Madam Clerk, do you want to say what the course was? Your licensing?
Yes, ma'am. If you'd like to Oprah the purchase order, I'd be more than happy to get
I
that
would
for
be
you.
more than happy to do that, but that's
Perfect.
still considered a confirming order where your funds should be encumbered prior to the money being spent.
Thank you. Okay.
But I will Oprah it and you can wait until
Next.
time.
Next.
Good evening. My name is Elliot Shemtov. Most of you know that I
One
operate.
thing, Mr. Shentov, it's want him to restart because you have a minute left. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. All yours.
Most of you know that I operate as a fiscal hawk. Tonight, I am not here with opinions. I'm here with numbers. And the numbers tell a story this council owes the public an answer to. I may also add that we have a budget that projects a soaring deficit of millions of dollars by 2031, with only more expenditures planned in the town and nothing to generate more revenue to lessen the tax burden that has seen Jackson residents' tax bills soar, including my own by quite a bit. Let's start at the top. Our BA is being paid $300,000, which we know about, roughly $75,000 above the going rate for that position. That alone deserves an explanation, but we already knew this. But here's what makes it worse. While we're paying a premium for a business administrator whose job includes preparing the municipal budget, the township also went out and hired an outside consultant for somewhere approximately around $42,000 to help with the budget. Budget's still late. Now it's getting back on track. So I have to ask, what exactly are we paying $300,000 for? A lot of people in this town like to know. Let's keep going. Council President Bernstein has an assistant, Leah Zelkovitz, paid $50,000 a year working remote, hired in October. Most residents have never heard her name. The clerk's office already serves this council and this council president. So I'd like to know on the record, what's her job description? What work product does she produce? And why does this position exist when the clerk's office is funded to do exactly this work? The mayor has her own assistant, Erica LaRue, paid $30,000 a year. Ms. LaRue is also an employee of JLK, the mayor's private real estate business. I'm not making accusations tonight, folks. I'm asking a question every resident has a right to ask. What firewall exists to ensure no JLK work is being done on township time, in township offices, on township equipment? Because if that firewall is not written down and enforced, this is textbook conflict of interest waiting to happen. Let's talk hiring. Michael Antonucci, brought in as a clerk one at $42,000. Every other clerk one in the building starts at $49,000. Every other clerk at clerk one comes in at $42,000. Employees who have been here for years are barely making more. So I got to ask, are we following civil service procedures? Are there 30, 60, 90-day performance goals for new hires? I know when I hire people, they have specific goals that they sign off on. That's private industry. We're in the public forum right now. Are we doing monthly or quarterly evaluations? Or are we just writing checks and hoping? The last time I checked, folks, hope is not a plan. Most of you are not from the private world of business, so you wouldn't know that. Finally, the township clerk, Sandra Martin, earns $117,500, plus a stipend of $1,250 per pay period. We are told HR duties. From January through April of this year, the township already employed a full-time HR director making $115,000 a year. So what exactly is the stipend paid for? Why are we paying twice for the same work? I got to tell you guys, it's no wonder this town's going broke. And it will be real broke in 5 years. You hear this, people are moving out left and right, left and right. These are not gotcha questions. These are the questions of a township that has lost track of its own checkbook. So to the residents of Jackson watching tonight, here's my call to you. Show up, read the contracts, read the resolutions, ask the question this council does not want asked, because a budget is a moral document. It tells you exactly what your leaders value. And right now, Jackson's budget's telling a story its taxpayers did not write a check for. I think we can all agree that we do not want town hall playing favorites. With 12 lawsuits already in play, how many more are we going to accumulate in the next few months?
I don't have to respond to a political stump speech. Thank you.
Not a political
There is a
stump
lot
speech.
of
These
your
are
time.
factual
Elliot,
Numbers.
your time
Factual
is
numbers.
up, and
Obviously, you don't have an answer, Councilman Bernstein.
many of your things were inaccurate that you said. So
They are?
thank you. Yes.
Fine, I'll open and bring them next time.
Okay. Sure.
Hello, my name is Ann Weber Rodriguez, 9 Hampton Drive. I have a question. Did the mayor give you what I sent her? I hand delivered to her and told her to give to you about my concerns? Did you get it? Oh, figures. And she's not here either, right? Okay. Let me start the first question. I have a question. Can the council appeal planning board decisions? Can you? Because what I read, you don't answer? Or?
I'll let you ask all your questions then.
I'm writing as a resident of Hartfield Development to request your immediate attention regarding dangerous traffic conditions on North New Prospect Road, particularly at the curve where it intersects with Andover. The situation has become increasingly hazardous and requires urgent assessment before a serious accident occurs. Dangerous curve at the intersection of Andover and North New Prospect. Hazardous conditions when exiting the Hartfield Development onto North New Prospect. Merging traffic creates unpredictable and unsafe conditions. These problems are most severe during rush hour. Just the other day, I witnessed a near accident that perfectly illustrates those dangers of children. Children were attempting to cross the street when a car was forced to stop short because a vehicle behind me was trying to merge onto the main road. This type of incident demonstrates that our safety concerns are real. I want to emphasize that the planning board approved the house of worship at 88 North New Prospect Road, despite being fully aware of the existing safety hazards at the location. The combination of the dangerous curve and increased worship traffic creates what I believe is foreseeable disaster waiting to happen. The township's awareness of these safety issues is evident in multiple ways. While I'm not a lawyer, I'm concerned that the township's knowledge of these dangerous conditions, combined with their decision to approve additional traffic generating uses, could create significant liability. The severity of the traffic safety issues at this intersection is demonstrated by the fact at least one homeowner relocated their mailbox from North New Prospect Road to Andover. There's really no other logical explanation for moving a mailbox and changing, but he's keeping the same address, North New Prospect. Well, I find that odd. For moving a mailbox from the main road to a side street, except to avoid repeated vehicle strikes due to the dangerous curb conditions. The mailbox relocation serves as concrete evidence that vehicles regularly have difficulty safely navigating the turn. The township's approval of additional traffic generating uses, despite this clear evidence of existing safety hazards, raise serious concerns. These dangerous conditions are particularly acute during morning rush hour and afternoon rush hour. The house of worship located at 88 North New Prospect will significantly increase vehicle traffic in already problematic area. In my opinion, you can expect substantial additional congestion that will combine the existing safety hazards. This letter is not about religious beliefs or practices. It's solely focused on traffic safety concerns at specific intersections. These legitimate public safety issues that affect all community members regardless of faith. The planning board's approval doesn't change the dangerous conditions we're experiencing daily. To avoid traffic congestion at the main intersection, drivers are cutting through our residential development, particularly on Hampton Drive. The township's installation of speed limit signs and no outlet warnings on Hampton Drive demonstrate the recognition of the traffic problem that exists. Yet drivers continue to speed through our neighborhood streets, creating additional safety hazards for children playing in residential areas. I am also sending, and I want you to give to Old Township, but she didn't do it, obviously. Why didn't she do it? I wonder about that one. While I'm not familiar with specific procedures for how safety issues are presented during council meetings, I believe it's important that all elected officials understand the potential risks we identified. Given that both the planning board and the township have demonstrated knowledge of these dangerous conditions, evidenced by the relocated mailbox, installing warning signs, and approval of additional traffic generating uses, council members should be informed before they face questions about liability. This creates a paper trail showing that township leadership was notified of safety hazards. Okay. I respectfully request that you present these safety concerns to the Township Council at the next available meeting. Given the documented evidence of dangerous conditions and the Planning Board's decision to approve additional traffic, despite these known hazards, all council members should be informed of potential liability exposure the township faces. This ensures that when an accident occurs, not if, but when, no elected official can claim they were not aware of the safety risks. I respectfully ask you all to go down to a handover and North New Prospect and look at what's going on. In addition, look at where they approved that house of worship, right in the school area. There's a path where the children walk to school. There's a fire department, and there's going to be times they have emergencies, and I wonder if there's going to get to those emergencies because of all the congestion.
So ma'am, I want to respond for a second. So the mayor did give me the letter at 5:30, and I gave it to the clerk, asked her to send it to the council tonight. So it will be sent to the council. That's first of all. Okay. Secondly, Mr. McGuckin, if we could just answer, she asked a legal question. The planning board approved an application. Does the council have the authority to override or disregard the planning
No,
board?
if it's a permitted use, the township council has no authority to file a lawsuit against its own planning board. Only in the limited circumstance if a zoning board grants a use variance for something that's not a permitted use, can the township consider challenging the decision of the zoning board. And the proofs are very difficult to do that, but only when there's a use variance that's granted by a zoning board. This issue was a planning board application, so it was a permitted use. So the township has no authority to challenge that decision.
So what you're telling me is when a kid gets hit by a car, township's not going to be liable?
Ma'am, I didn't say any such thing. You asked for a legal question, I gave you the legal answer.
But that's what's going to happen.
Thank you.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Eleanor Hannum, Jackson, New Jersey. I want to start with the conspiracy theory comments made by a councilman. What you dismiss as conspiracy theories, I only state facts. Facts that I have already thoroughly researched and I can prove. For me, I woke up to what's going on in this town 15 years ago when an appointed councilman who's not here tonight was the liaison to the DPW, directed leaves from the Vista Center to be placed on the border of my neighborhood. They lied to us. It took us 6 years in litigation, and the courts proved us right. So spare us the lectures about misinformation. Many of us stopped trusting this government when we witnessed the favoritism, retaliation, and abuse of power ourselves. What I see happening in my hometown of Jackson now is death by 1,000 cuts. I believe you are intentionally bankrupting our town, and your decisions are destroying our school district. As we are the topic throughout the state, we are the topic throughout New Jersey. You are draining taxpayer dollars on pet projects benefiting the politically connected with the residents footing the bill. You exceed state budget caps by writing ordinances designed to plug your financial holes created by reckless spending. You're allowing residents to be pressured to sell their homes for your institutional investors to connect their properties to accommodate your affordable housing overlay, while intensifying residential neighborhoods beyond anything envisioned in our zoning. You lie about overdevelopment when you attend MUA meetings asking for them to bring water to every single street in Jackson Township. You undermine public schools while simultaneously approving high-intensity uses through the zoning changes that you're making that erode neighborhood character, traffic safety, and quality of life. You encourage the building department and zoning officer to look the other way when approving a family room that is anything but a family room establishment. Under the guise of planning, this governing body continues to put biased members on our boards to approve uses and variances that conflict with the intent of the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law, a law intended to promote the general welfare, protect residential communities, and ensure zoning decisions are made honestly for the benefit of the entire public, not the select interests. Residents are watching applicants and professionals present bogus testimony and lie in their testimony to give them D-variances that strain credibility and fail to meet the statutory standards of a negative criteria. And that just happened with 88 North New Prospect Road. That should never have been approved. I fear for our children's safety. It is disgusting that Ms. Campbell and Mr. Sullivan ignored the lies that were pointed out to them, especially in the statement of operations. One of the most disturbing issues is the case that the easement acquired specifically for our school children to safely walk to school is now being used for access to a religious facility. Easements obtained for public safety and educational access should not be repurposed to accommodate the operational needs of a particular religious use. This raises serious constitutional concerns under the Establishment Clause, where public property cannot be used in a manner that appears to favor, advance, or specifically accommodate a religious group over the rights, safety, and quiet enjoyment of the surrounding residential community. We see selective enforcement and favoritism everywhere we look. Just weeks ago, Blinky Holdings was over a year behind in taxes. Yet tonight, in your bills, you approved a performance bond release of $73,000. And while taxpayers struggle, we continue to foot the bill. The people of Jackson are not blind. At some point, this no longer looks like isolated incidents and starts looking like a coordinated pattern of political favoritism, overdevelopment, collusion, constitutional disregard, and a government that no longer serves the people equally. This is why residents are angry. This is why we no longer trust this government. And this is why dismissing legitimate public concerns as conspiracy theories is not only insulting, it's disrespectful and dangerous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
As far as conspiracy theories, the term originated from our own government after JFK was assassinated. And I think everybody's awake to everything going on in the world now. And we see conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory just be true, right? Rich, powerful, elite people going to an island with children, not a conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracies going on, and a lot of them are just plain reality. It's unfortunate what we have to deal with in our everyday lives. Thank you.
Next.
Just adding to
What's your name?
My name is Mark Farrar. Just adding to what she said, in case people from Jackson don't understand what took place last week at the planning board, by the planning board, which was an absolute travesty. I'll recap it in about 1 minute. What took place was there's a residential home that is on has a 109-foot width. To build anything in that area right now requires, if you want to put a pool in that area, it requires 150-foot width. It's 109 right now. And it has the 10-foot easement that they were just talking about. But not to complicate matters, it's 109 feet of useful space. They are replacing a 1,750 square foot house with a house of worship that is over 14,000 square feet in an area that is still undersized if you wanted to put a pool in it. Please understand that, Jackson. This is what our township and our planning board is doing to us. And that is exactly why I said after almost $400,000 in taxes, I have the right to complain. That's what I used to think of Jackson as, my little oasis. Now it's a disgusting, overdeveloped, garbage-ridden area, and we don't deserve it as the residents. We deserve more respect than we're getting. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Wambachano, founder of We Strive for a Place to Ride. Guys, you're terrible. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Short people problem. Thank you. Well, guys, this is I'm going to give you your notice now as Sandra Wambachano, the resident, because nobody reached out to me. So here it comes, guys. I'm going to sue you for $364 million. Okay? Because you didn't check up. The cops put me in jail and nobody called me. Councilman Pollock, only you and I spoke, so we're going to continue, I guess. Nobody called me. Nobody asked me. Nothing. How was your 364 days that we violated, or did we violate? Nobody. I even reached out internal affairs and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, there's your notice, okay? Now I'm gonna go into the We Strive for a Place to Ride, which I am a founder of, proud founder. I thought you tonight was the ordinance for 04-25, a total ban on low-speed e-bikes in our parks. So tonight, I'm going to be talking to you about this. This ordinance is arbitrary, unconstitutional exercise of power that will turn into a law-abiding citizens into defendants. The conflict of federal law is the consumer product safety, which is 15 U.S.C. subsection 2085. Low-speed e-bikes are defined as consumer products, not motor vehicles. By reclassifying them as motorized vehicles to justify a ban, this council is violating the Supremacy Clause, the U.S. Constitution, which I did ask you, nobody got back to me either, if you knew your constitutional rights, something you swore an oath on. Okay, let me continue. You are creating a trap for seniors who use these mobilities, and also for the youth who use them for transport. Under the own code, a 14-year-old riding a bike to a park isn't just getting a ticket. They're facing a municipal record and a mandatory postponement of their future driving privileges. This is an excessive and discriminatory penalty that targets children for behavior that is perfectly legal on a pedal bike. Finally, I am placing this council, well, Mayor Kuhn isn't here, on formal notice now, a personal liability under 18 USC subsection 242. It is a federal crime for any official acting under the code of law to willfully deprive persons of their constitutional rights. Furthermore, if two or more officials, all of you, act in concert to enforce persons of their constitutional rights, this conspiracy is under 18 USC 241. I will be handing this clerk a notice of potential violations for the official record. If the ordinance is passed or enforced, I guess you guys passed it, I'm not sure yet, begins, we will not hesitate to refer document patterns of right deprivations to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. A total arbitrary, again, ban is not. I urge you to table it. I guess if you did pass it, the ordinance immediately.
Thank you. Carlos?
All right. I'm just going to start, just one quick question on the budget, because we're going to have that other meeting where the citizen committee thing is going to look at the details of the budget, so that's great. But I do have one question I want to feed off Elliot regarding the surplus, right? And now that the numbers actually changed, seems like, so it's no longer 7,000, it's somewhere in the 2 million.
2.1 something.
2.1, right?
I forgot the number she said.
But if you look at a trend, it's still very concerning. I'll just point out, I wanted to show it on the screen, but it wasn't there. But anyway, in 2003, we had a good year. We budgeted to use $8 million of the surplus, but we were able to replenish 7.8 million, so almost no change. That was a great year, right? But then comes 2024. Not so great, still okay, but not so great. We planned to use 11 million. We replenished almost 9 million, 8.8 million. Pretty good. Then comes 2005. In 2005, we planned to use 8.8 million. We were only able to replenish 4 million. So that's why I don't understand this change that they were talking about, how you got 2 million, because per all the numbers, audited financial statements, these are actuals, right? These are not budgeted numbers. The ending position in surplus was 9.4 million. I think that's a true number.
The number they said tonight was 11.
That's the number that has to change, not anything in
Right, the number
26.
they said tonight was 11, Carlos, so.
Right,
Yeah.
so I want to know how is that possible? Because supposedly this came from audited financial statements, but
Yeah,
we'll
correct.
look at that, okay? The trick is, we plan now on using 9.4 million, right, of the surplus. And 9.4 million, if you look at the trend, that's not, I mean, we've done 11 million before. The trick is, how much can we replenish? And they tried to address that here with some items, but there are no numbers next to it. I hate words without numbers. How the hell are we going to replenish $9 million or something close, 4 million, 5 million, 7 million, to get back to that ending position somewhere in the 11, 13 million dollars, which is what we've seen. I only went back 4 years, but anyway, that's what we
So-
see. That's the key question
Sure.
that I hope we can get to when we
Sure.
do the details.
So I'll tell you what they said. I don't want to take up your time, so
Okay.
I can answer you, but I'll let you continue. So it's my understanding what they said was that there were 3 areas that they're looking to, in the mayor's budget, to replenish. One was hoping that there's an increased enforcement of penalties in town. They announced, for example, they use it as an example. The Housing Bureau sent out $274,000 of penalties for 400 and I forgot the exact number of people who did not register. That's $500 a head, and obviously we're hoping they all pay it, and then if they don't, it goes up to $750 and $1,000 per the ordinance. So that was one area they mentioned. The other area they mentioned was the $14 million in outstanding taxes that hopefully there will be some form of collection. Do I expect us to get 14 million? No. But I think that was part of what they mentioned. And the third thing that they mentioned was some of the increased ratables, which are expected, some of the office buildings, et cetera, which are currently in the process of coming on the roll. Those are the 3 things that they mentioned, but obviously we have to go through it with a fine tooth and find.
And my point is, I saw that. That's great. They didn't have any numbers next to it, and just I don't know too much about it, but just thinking about it, how does that get me to $4 million? We need to replenish our budget at least $4 million.
Correct.
In the year of 2026. Anyway, hopefully we'll get
Yeah.
to that answer because
That's our job in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think that's the key question. Anyway, plus, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I couldn't get information on. Last time, I specifically asked if you were going to release the user-friendly budget. I remember saying that. And user-friendly for who? You said yes. That is not what we released. We released the compact version. Mr. Terfenko informed me that usually the user-friendly budget is only released after it's approved. Is that a law or something? Like, why can't we release it? If we have it, why can't
So
we
I-
let everybody know? Give us head count. For
So-
example, there was no head count in what was sent out.
Sure.
That's a big driver of salaries and benefits. How are we supposed to figure out if, I don't know, other things that weren't there?
Sure. So I did say that, and like I said, I wasn't really 100% sure what a user-friendly budget was until then, but I did speak to them today with the business administrator. Sounds like there's some statutes and stuff that have to be worked out, but that was,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Carlos.
it feels like we have it.
Mr.
Put it out
Edelman?
there. Don't give us just little stuff.
Mr. Edelman?
I had a lot more, but I'm going to tell you I'm a big fat loser.
Don't say that, please, publicly.
Hi, guys. Donnie Edelman, Willow Point Drive. Couple of things. Congratulations to, I guess it's the girls wrestling and the ROTC kids. I was listening to it in the car on the way over. Couple of other things. This may be more to the residents of the town, not so much the board, but, well, you're all welcome to join in as well. There's some dissent online as far as the upgrades and repairs being done to the dog park. I would say that people who have a problem with it probably could use a dog and a day at the dog park or a day at a park, and get out, get some fresh air. We'll leave that one alone beyond that. Mr. Tarafanko, you called me, phone died. I'm going to get back in touch with you. I spoke with the mayor in the parking lot, and just as long as we do it on a Friday, I want to get you, this is on the record, you, Mr. Cheney, and the mayor together, so that this way, after a year plus, my problems could actually be solved. You would be the fourth business administrator or the fourth person in your position that's been working on this, and it's not your fault, but I just want to get it done and taken care of. Other than that, I would like to know why it is that with all the problems I have, my property is not registered, it's not licensed, it's not on the approved list. None of the properties that are owned by my property management company in Jackson or by my landlord in Jackson are on the landlord registration list. And as part of transparency, rather than just send them a letter saying, can you get us the money whenever you feel like it, can we actually do something like fine them from all the things I've been through? They've had more than enough leeway. I'm sitting here because of the problems that we're going to be talking about. I'm at risk of losing my apartment. And I have their state registration, who, when I called DCA, found out this piece of paper was doctored, number one, and number two, all the information that's on here is inaccurate. The people are either dead, don't work for the company, no longer live in this country, and they have moved to Israel. So this ain't worth the piece of paper it's written on. And Jackson has a very similar requirement. Basically, it's owner, emergency contact information, emergency repair information, all that kind of stuff. We're supposed to get that. Code enforcement's not doing a damn thing about it. I tried calling the new rental person and never heard back from them. I sent an email, never heard anything back. And that's at least 100 units on my property. We're supposed to be having continued CO inspections. I've never had one. I've lived there for 14 years, ever. So there's things that are not being done. And I just want to make you guys aware of it. It's nice to see everybody again. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Edelman. Next. Yeah.
Hi, Maurice Rodriguez, Hampton Drive. I just want to say I agree with my wife Ann's concerns about safety. Voters will remember in November how safety concerns were ignored. That's it.
Thank you.
Fred Morrow, Jackson. I just came tonight to thank all of you for allowing my greatest nightmare and restless nights and sleepless nights to happen. Honor abort 5-1, and that's what the sign says. You opened up the road, made no changes, no safety. It doesn't matter. A crew came in the first thing, 5-1. They scraped up all the lines off the road and put down beautiful new paint, beautiful signs, and guess what? Nobody's looking at them. Nobody cares. If you tell them to go straight, they're making turns wherever they want. You haven't slowed anybody down. They're still flying through the development. And I wonder why it was all allowed to happen. Because see, to me, it was all about safety until I started realizing that it was more about discrimination against the people in the apartments behind me. And then I realized nothing will get done because guess what? They look at our development as one of those people that they couldn't care less. I asked the fireman, I said, what's one of the heaviest fire trucks you got? 70,000 pounds. You try stopping that from a kid running in the street. What kind of damage is going to happen? Yes, I get a little bit upset because safety, I'll show you the pictures of the cars in my fence. I won't let my granddaughter play in my backyard because I'm afraid that she might be back there when one of these idiots come flying through. And as far as stop signs go, or yield signs, people have to learn how to read first because they don't pay attention to them at all, especially when some of them are even in the trees. I mean, I look at them and I say, who in their right mind, if you're not going to cut the tree, cut the sign? I mean, the signs have been replaced so many times by the side of my house. I'm tired of talking. I really am. Now, to get off of that, because you're not going to listen anyway, I also thought maybe that there would be a mention. You guys lost a plumbing inspector, if I'm not mistaken. It's been all over social media and everything else like that. Not a mention of it. Not a mention to his family. I don't even know the guy. I feel bad for his family. And then you wonder why people don't want to work in Jackson? Would be nice just to say, hey, we lost a guy, and, our hearts go out to his family. Okay, that's that one. Now, number 3. Last month, I downloaded the bills. I said once before, it's so confusing looking at them. I got one set of charges here. There's 19 charges on 11 different pages for one thing. Looks real good when you look at it and you see a $500 deal here, a $500 deal there, $400, $300, until you add it all up, you come out to $14,805.36. Doesn't look like you're trying to be transparent. Now, I really don't care. Somebody said this was a grant. Okay, fine. Why is it put in with the regular bills that come out of taxpayers' money? Because this isn't really taxpayers' money then, is it? It's money that you get from state, whatever. Why is it included in there? To make it look like, okay, you're hiding everything else. Because I'll tell you the truth, this is so confusing, it's unbelievable. But I got the number, and I might have even missed a couple because, 11 pages, that's kind of, unreal. It should all be put together, and I said it before. It should be done by department, and then in alphabetical order by the vendor. Who cares? But, and I also looked, and there was a whole long list of P cards. What is a P card? Doesn't say what you bought with it, it just says P card purchase. We don't know. Couple $100 here, couple $100 there. If this is a monthly type deal, it could be a couple $1,000s a month. And then the last thing about the budget and all of that is the numbers that they put up on the board. How much of that do we lose because you've already spent money in 2026 and have already paid bills with it? Because I didn't hear anybody mention anything about that. You carried over the budget from last year, right? Got to pay it somehow.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm over time.
Jim?
All right. Jim Selecchia. I'm on the zoning board, but I'm not here as a zoning board member. I'm here as a
Jim,
resident.
if you don't mind, a little closer to the mic, I just can't hear you. Sorry.
So let's talk about a few things. First thing, Mr. Bernstein, you made a comment to a resident that was here. I guess it was to Carlos when he brought up something with the surplus, and you mentioned one of the things was that, well, they're hoping that fines are going to be higher. Well, if we're creating a budget on hope, you might as well just stop right now. You should never create a budget on hope. That's just absolutely insane. So if you misspoke, so be it, but let's make sure the budget is done correctly. As far as the presentation that was done tonight, I can tell you I've gone through the entire budget. I have 36 questions. Hopefully, Mr. Terafenko, he might decide not to have the meeting after I just said I have 36 questions. Created that. I didn't know if I'd get asked tonight or not, but I can tell you after the presentation, I now have an additional 10 questions because that presentation was very generic. It did not dive into anything. I will give you a clear example. Go back and watch Brick Township's council meeting when they introduced their budget. Every department had somebody speaking on their behalf, explaining why their budget was changing. We didn't have that here. Just a thought for next year when we're going through it. So, you know, everybody's talking about in the budgets, its expenses are the same, you know, it's tax increases aren't changing. The problem is the budget the right budget for this town? And I'm going to tell you right now, based on what I've gone through and what I've come up with, it's not. There are so many things in that budget that are extremely questionable, and I will go through them with Mr. Tarafanko. There's numbers on the pages that make no sense. As case in point, the tax rate right now is 0.254 on the page, and I don't have the page, it's sitting in the back, but on the page that goes out 5 years, it shows the tax rate in 2027 at 0.410. How do we get to that? How are we getting to that? All of a sudden, we're going to start charging people 0.410 per 100 instead of 0.25? Where did that come from? Are we not planning out 5 years? I can tell you another thing. One of the items on there showed a 2% increase in salaries. I'm pretty sure most of our contracts are for more than 2%. So how are we creating this budget that's going out for 5 years and saying we're comfortable? The surplus, whether it's 7,000 or 2 million, it's insane. The biggest problem with that is we're hoping for regeneration. Well, the one question I would have loved to have asked them tonight, and I will ask him at the meeting, is what are the risks that your plan for regeneration doesn't happen? And how do we deal with that? Because you cannot look at what happened in the past as what's going to happen in the future. Our health insurance costs were $5.9 million this year. 5.1 million was budgeted, so we're over 800,000. The budget for 2026 is less than the total for last year. What was the rationale to change a number that's lower than it was last year? Are we going to have health classes now for all the township employees, getting them in better shape? I don't know, you know, but those are the things that were not even talked about tonight. So when we meet, we're going to have a lot of discussion. So, and anybody that wants to sit down with me and go through it, I'll show you exactly what all my concerns are. I will provide you guys with my questions if you want them. But it's not a budget that we, as a town of Jackson, this size, should be handling. In regards to the resolution, and the reason I asked to pull it tonight was because I wasn't sure. Were we going and taking the person from Red Bank to come here, or were we giving the person to Red Bank? So the fact that we're giving it to Red Bank, I'm okay. I still don't like it. I think we should need, a town this size needs to have employees that are here full-time, doing all the work for Jackson. One big thing is, and I can hear the comments, is we can't find one. This town needs a CFO on site all the time.
Hi, my name is Carissa, resident of Jackson. Can you guys hear me? This thing makes me so nervous. Okay. Honestly, I feel really defeated and exhausted at this point, and it's sad that I even have to come back here. I've lived here for about just shy of 5 years at this point, and I've been here often. The haphazard and poorly planned approach just isn't sufficient, and I feel like the township needs to take accountability, and I'm just asking for help at this point and for you guys to do the right thing. To briefly summarize and kind of catch some of you up to speed, I don't know who remembers me, who doesn't, but again, I bought a house just shy of 5 years ago, and behind my home is township property that had full-grown bamboo culms. That was not a maintained area by any means. And side note on that, I also addressed the cat colony that's there, and I was told it would be handled, but still to this day, the cats, the strays, the condos are all back there. So once again, if you guys can please address that. But besides that, the bamboo is extremely aggressive and invasive, and I was unaware at the time of purchasing the brutal fact that if you see bamboo, that the roots go about 50 feet or so in all directions underground. I was made aware from multiple bamboo experts that my entire property is already invaded and the roots encroached from township property to my property. The roots go all the way from the back of my property to the front curb. I already incurred costs for permit and removal of a tree that was suffocated and killed by roots of the bamboo. Keep in mind, I did express major concern relayed directly from bamboo specialists that bamboo can still and will grow through whatever to survive. It was actually used as torture methods back in the day. So I'm concerned for not only my foundation and home, but the public water, sewer, and gas lines. The sidewalks the bamboo is running under are township responsibility, as well as the public lines that I'm mentioning. It's frustrating that you aren't hearing my concerns or taking it seriously. I, in depth, again and again, explained how we should have collaborated and came to an agreed upon plan of action first, that based on multiple bamboo experts' opinions, you have to remove the roots and the combs at the same time. Otherwise, you basically agitate the aggressive bamboo and put it in survival mode, which makes roots grow farther out. And you ignored me and went ahead and just cut them down on your own without working out a plan with me or letting me know anything or seeing if I had a way to remove the roots on my property on my own, which I don't. You claim that paying and having sprayed chemicals will clear it, but only on your property. You refused at even bare minimum to even spray my property for this solution that you had. I told you that won't work with bamboo. I didn't have, and I still don't have to this day, $10,000 for excavation. That's what I was quoted from professionals anyway, to remove just the roots. That doesn't count me removing my driveway, the fence, the patio in my backyard, or putting anything back, or a soil replacement. And this is all out of pocket for me. If the township has public works use equipment, or at least show some sort of good faith to try to help me remove these roots, I'm sure that we could alleviate that $10,000 excavation, or at minimum, the township can please help me and pay that $10,000 professional fee and have that done. I can almost bet that if the roles were reversed, you guys would legally ensure I would have to pay to rectify the situation. I feel that the township should have to assist in some way for bamboo root removal on my property. Every attorney I've spoken to has also said, if it's a neighbor, this is an open closed case, and excavation costs and then some would be their responsibility. The problem, they told me, is that the township is a public entity and they have endless funds, and I'd spend more in legal fees trying to fight my way to justice. And that's exactly why Jackson's Township attorney told me last time I was here that if I want, I can sue. But unfortunately, I don't have money for that, and nor do I want to go that route. It's a losing battle that way, and I don't have access to unlimited funds myself to fight that fight. I was also told by Ms. Kuhn that she'd send me some companies that could possibly help assist. That was her remedy of trying to help me, but at the end of the day, it really shouldn't be on me. The bare minimum of the township obligation should be just to remove the roots. And besides that, now that it's spring, all the roots are now, the bamboo is still alive and it is continuing to grow on both of our properties. So I'm exhausted and I just need you guys to let me know what we're doing.
No, I left, Council Vice President.
Give me your full name again.
Carissa Matuhin. Matuhin. Why am I the only one that has to spell their name? I'm sorry. It's Matuhin.
Having bamboo roots. She's having bamboo roots on both township property and her property. Is there something we can do to assist with this dilemma?
I
she's been
recall our
facing?
discussion. She had been here before, and we
Yes.
did have a discussion. I'd have to go back and look at the file that we have on it. My recollection, sitting here tonight, and I'm not saying you're incorrect,
Mhm.
my recollection is there's a question as to where they came from. Was it your prior owner or another property? But I'll be glad to go take another look at it. But my recollection was that you believe it was the township's fault. I'm not sure that was what I understood at the time, but I'll be glad to take another look at it.
Yeah, we had like a three-way conversation with the bamboo specialist to also identify that the source was from the township property, because bamboo grows outwards and my property has no combs on it. So it becomes like a he said, she said thing. But at the end of the day, like what's right is right. And like,
I understand.
I don't
and
want to
think
nickel
what-
and
I
dime
think
and
the issue
nitpick.
became, I remember that. And I think
Right.
the issue became that what you're asking is the township to go onto your property to fix something on your property that we are not.
You encroached. You
Well,
didn't
I
maintain
know
your
that's what you
property
said,
and it
and I'm not
encroached on
doubting
mine.
that's what you believe, and I'm not saying you're not wrong. Excuse me, that you're not right. I just recall that that's where it was left, and that you were asking the township to go onto your private property and spend money on somebody's private property, which is a problem unless it is directly caused by the township.
Ms. Matucci, can you email me so I have a record, and then I'll follow up with our professionals and you
Sure,
on that
and if you
email?
would like to get your own bamboo professional, I'm happy for you to
Just
do that.
email me. I mean, I'm going to
assess
see
where
what
it's
our
going.
professionals say, no doubt. I'm going to follow up. You have my email. You can find my email. Just
I
email
don't
me.
have your email, but I can look it up.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's
it's on
just
the.
G. Palmieri.
the thing.
You'll just email me so we can get a paper trail, and I'll forward it out, please.
Yeah, especially
Okay?
now that it's spring, it's
Yep,
back in full.
email me. I'll definitely forward it, and we'll see what we can do. Okay?
Thank
Next. Next.
Raymond Trima Jr., Fire Commissioner, Zoning Board Member. I'm going to wear a couple different hats. First one, I've already talked to you, Morty. Fire Department. Why does the fire department in this town have to pay rental on the fire hydrants? Talking about budgets, hurts my budget too. You're talking $250 a hydrant. Taxpayers already paid for those hydrants. Suppose it has been an issue, been argued for many years. This is my third term as fire commissioner. Nothing's happened. So let's start with that one.
You want me to answer now? I don't want to waste your time. I'll let you speak first.
You can go.
I'll just tell you, it was mentioned before that I, went to a MUA meeting. I actually went to the MUA meeting twice this year to talk to the new director about this issue. We had made up to follow up and set up a meeting with Mr. Tarafenko. You and I had met about it also, and that's where it's holding. So I would ask you to follow up with me so we can make sure that meeting happens, so we can at least have that conversation. I don't have more information besides for that. It doesn't.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Though? Why do you have to talk to them? Don't you appoint the people that sit on that board?
On the MUA?
Yeah. The MUA
Well, we appoint them. We don't tell them how to.
No, and
Yeah.
that's my point. They tell us what to do. When I was on the planning board, they told us how they're going to do an application. Everybody sat there and went, yep. To me, that's not right. I mean, you've educated me by letting me be on these boards, so I'm going to be your biggest pain in the ass now.
That's why we put you there.
I'm good at it. You know that. And that's why, have tremendous empathy for the people with the planning board the other day. Because again, we ignore these professionals that get $400, $500, $600 an hour that sit here and they turn around and say, in my opinion, in my experience, you know what that is? Legal lying. That's all it is. It's total BS. But I have to sit there and listen to it. When I sat on that planning board, I had people sitting over here overriding it because we don't want to get sued. I'd rather we get sued for that, for doing what we have to do. But that's just my opinion as a taxpayer. It's a tremendous problem to me because we have an open seat on the zoning board. I've been putting right on Facebook for the keyboard warriors that want to sit there and bash me, bash my son, firefighter, a father, who's given his time too. Bashing us, we're doing the best we can. People don't want to sit on these seats because who the hell wants to be beat up in public? But we do it. And the problem is, you guys have your own fights, I get it. The public has their own opinions. Neither side is always right. You know, especially the keyboard warriors, I get that. But the problem is, we have people that sit here and lie. Is the zoning board, is the planning board technically an extension of the court of law here? Nothing happens when you lie. And they lie right to our face. And it's a joke. So the people aren't wrong. You have a walkway. Now you just approved a house of worship. God help us when somebody loses a kid. The other thing that concerns me, and now I'm going to do a little zoning board. We recently had an application, comes up, and it was questioned that this person owes taxes. Turns out at the time that they applied for this hearing, they did owe taxes. They paid it. Can we change the ordinance so at the time that your application comes to the table here, your taxes still need to be paid? It's kind of a loophole. I will pay it here, but I'm not going to ask the people to make exceptions for me, and I still owe taxes. I know Jen has made some strides here trying to collect tax money. You shouldn't have a say if you owe a dime.
So You and I have had this conversation also, and I don't want to talk about a specific application, but Mr. McGuckin, the concept that Mr. Tremor is bringing up. we could just-
Unfortunately, the courts have ruled on that issue, and the courts have clearly indicated that the board is nevertheless obligated to hear the application and make a decision, and they cannot not hear it because of unpaid taxes. What the
'Cause you
board
don't have an
can- Let me
ordinance.
finish. No, the ordinance would not be valid. There are towns that have done it, and it's been challenged, and it doesn't work. What the board can do is not approve a resolution unless and until the taxes are paid. And that's great if they're approved, but if it's denied, they sometimes don't pay them still.
So I just want to clarify, the resolution after the application, the board could withhold?
That's
until-
correct. The application would not be, they can't do
Would that
resolution
be,
compliance. They
would
can't
that
do
be an
anything.
ordinance that the council would have to pass?
No,
Or-
it's case law.
It's case law?
Board
Okay,
is
but
well aware
do
of it.
certain members on our boards know this?
Oh, Ray, it's your, go back to your board.
Well, that's why I'm saying.
And you have a son here also, go back to his board, yeah.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of feeling powerless. You know, and I stay in my lane, I do my job. And it's really a shame that I'm overruled by an attorney who's afraid to be sued. Or overruled by a chairperson who only cares about.
Ray, it's past your 5 minutes, we'll talk. I always wanted to cut you off. I did.
Feel better now.
Thank you, Ray.
Raymond Trimmer III. I'm on the Environmental Chairman Commissioner. I am on the Planning Board, and I'm also a Jackson Fire Commissioner of Fire District 4. So I'm going to alley-oop exactly what my dad is saying, because this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to start with the Environmental Commission, because it's a powerless board, right? We all get up here, we talk about the environment. What's been done in a year? There's been nothing. We've made progress. We appointed a secretary, but it's powerless. There's a zero that the Environmental Commission in this town is able to do. The aquifer is being destroyed. Our woods are being destroyed. And there's nothing being done, right? We've come up here consistently asking about buying properties, right? Conserving properties. Kudos to Mayor Kuhn because she actually has done so. And kudos to you, Council President Bernstein, because I know you've been a part of it. So I'll give credit where it's due, but we need to do more. There needs to be more done to protect the environment in this town because it's fading away. My other thing I'm going to talk about as a planning board member is frustration. Key word tonight is safety. That application the other night is a travesty. That curve that we all talk about, there's been fatals on there. My dad and I have been in this town. We've served on the fire department for a long time. We've seen fatal. There's blood on our hands that we've dealt with in this town, and now we're creating more, right? Jackson PD, when I'm talking about our experts, here's the statement from Jackson PD, and it recommends that it just goes against it. But we have to listen to Mr. Ray and all these other experts, right? Where does our opinion matter? Where does a public servant for 21 years, 40-something years, where do our opinions come into validity? They don't. And it's beyond frustration at this point. And we talk about ordinances, all right? Why is there ordinances in Jackson that directly go against municipal land use law and they contradict each other? A high-intensity house of worship in the middle of a block. Last year would have been a no-go on the application because according to Jackson ordinances, wasn't allowed. Now it's changed because of the lawsuit going on. Make it make sense because it doesn't. It's beyond frustration when you have to sit on these boards and I sit and I listen to everybody. And it breaks my heart to hear taxpayers upon taxpayers and residents talk about safety. I have a son, I have a 6-year-old son, right? I wanted him to grow up in the same Jackson that he raised me in. And that dream is dead and I'm trying my hardest to fight it and keep it going. It's not there anymore. It's just gone. I'm going to keep it short because as you can see, what are we doing? I mean, there needs to be more done, and that's all I got to say.
So I just want to respond to you quickly. First of all, thank you for your service. And your dad said it well. We're looking for volunteers. I had a resident, someone called me recently about a resident who spoke by one of the meetings. Morty would make a great board member. I called the resident. She's like, I don't want to go through what everyone goes through on social media. She's like, I don't want it. So we definitely need more volunteers, and we appreciate your family's line of your history of volunteering. Just with regard to the environment, I know I owe you a call about the ERI. That was approved, and actually the professional called me last week. She's like, whatever happened? I said, I had an email out to you guys and I got to follow up. So
We got to speed it up.
That correct.
ERI is so important.
Correct.
And we do. And listen, the environmental chairman, right? We've lost in the environmental commission. We've lost members. There's not a single publication on the Jackson Township website encouraging people to join the environmental commission of Jackson Township.
Not a single one, and there's open seats.
How
gotta
many
do
open
more.
seats do you have now?
At least 2 to 3. I need at least 1 alternate and 2 primaries.
Let's talk after.
All right.
Thanks.
Good evening. Michelle Rayson, Jackson taxpayer. We're talking about budget, and I just want to bring the attention that in the current fund appropriations under administrative, executive salary and wages, in 2025, it was $389,600. It's now budgeted for $581,120. This is an increase of $191,520. Why? Why are we top heavy like that? Number 2, I believe Madam Clerk can answer this. You have a staff of 4 plus yourself equals 5. I believe you still have an Eatontown clerk working 5 days a week, hours 5 to 10, 25 hours a week doing Oprah. Is that correct?
Direct the questions to me.
Okay, so is that correct? We still have a part-time, it's almost another full-time person. And who really pays attention if they're actually doing 5 hours of work. So if she's working a full-time job during the day, there's no way I'm coming home and doing another 5 hours at night till 10 o'clock at night. So really, how much is she producing? And taxpayers are paying another person for 25 hours a week when the work should be getting done in that office with 5 people in there. Just saying. Also, I make a suggestion that everybody on council look at the township code, as the individual brought up about the Pasha Award. In the township code, it clearly states you only process fair and open. I did a search for non-fair and open, and there's nothing that comes up in the township code. And this resolution 112-2026 for Pasha clearly states without public advertising for this bid. Therefore, this resolution should say non-fair and alternate award. Did a political disclosure get received, documents get received by this individual? Number 1. And number 2, in that code, it states, Chapter 3, Administrative Code, Article 10, 3-135, Recreation/Special Events Coordinator. We have a Fred Meeby, titled Director of Recreation and Events Coordinator. According to the code, there's no title for director's title. Also, this individual is supposed to have a bachelor's degree in recreation, have 3 years of experience in managing and operating recreational programs. Does this individual follow this code that is written by the township for employees that are hired? So I doubt he has recreation. Okay, so bringing that up. Then I think perhaps if the miscellaneous charge for reimbursement for Sandra Martin was actually processed under the correct budget line, but again, there's no purchasing agent on site. We have an off-site consultant because it was processed out of the clerk miscellaneous line where there's a training line in the budget. And I want to say maybe that's why the budget's really not balancing out, because things are getting charged in the incorrect lines. And really, if it said reimbursement, it should have said training, okay? We're all about transparency. We're in a fishbowl, okay? I'm a taxpayer. I shouldn't have to do an Oprah. It should be on the bills list, flat out, okay? Now, we're talking about the snow. President Bernstein, back on April 28th meeting, you just stated that the snow removal cost $3 million. You said that each year in the prior year's budgets, there was $200,000 operating. It was $200,000 was in the operating budget for snow cleanup. If there was no funds, no snow, where'd the funds go? They were used for something else. There is, sorry, I just have screenshots here. Title 40A, semicolon 4-62-1, Storm Recovery Reserves Permitted Rules and Regulations. It states item 2, following declaration of an emergency by the President of the United States or the governor, they may authorize the use of these funds. So I know these funds were used back during COVID. So if there was a declared emergency, that's where the funds went. And I want to say, back in 2008, it started with $20,000 in this trust. There was, when FEMA reimbursed for
Tony.
certain funds.
It's 5 minutes. I'll give you another 10 seconds.
Okay. And so we had 1,909,845 as of December 2024. I suggest maybe the CFO, who is also, is she on site? Is the CFO on site? Okay, she's not. So maybe she needs to look into the LFN 2026-4. This is about storm response and recovery, budget and procurement guidelines. It tells you how you could spread out this money that has been spent over a couple of years.
Ma'am,
And that's it.
thank you.
Yep. Oh, P card. My husband did an over for P cards. We're still waiting for that.
Okay.
And it's within the time. But again, if it was
Okay.
broken down in detail.
Ma'am, you're over your 5 minutes. Thank you.
And I want these answers next meeting because I want it on public record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deb Jones, Jackson resident. I'm just really upset that every meeting I have to come up here and point something out, because I literally leave my house saying, I am not getting up today. And unfortunately, you guys give way too much points that have to go over. As far as a budget goes, I've already told you, you need to do better. Unfortunately, the people that came today, that was nothing. Because I feel like there were so many broad spectrums in there, didn't help me. What helped me is listening to all the other people. And what's really sad is we had to sit here and watch how you guys had to argue amongst each other to get people's insurance paid. And I agree with you. Nobody should be going without their pay or their insurance. But how do we get here? We should never be at a position where somebody wants to vote by their heart for the Jackson residents and has to pull it back because we are that far under. Our ship hasn't just sprung a leak. We're sinking. We're going down so fast. You guys aren't keeping us even afloat because all you're doing is leaving bits of information out. Transparency means transparency. And I honestly don't feel like I've ever sat here and had the entire board being transparent. That's sad. I'm pretty sure that the HR person that's going to be working for Red Bank part-time, didn't they come from Red Bank? So I don't know, guys, did you think she might be auditioning for her job back to get out of here? I mean, Red Bank might need help, but there's lots of people in this world that can do the job. As far as, I wanted to say this last time, you guys put people's names and addresses all over social media that they owed back taxes. Great. I mean, big corporations, yeah, you might have embarrassed them, but you know who you embarrassed more? The people trying desperately to survive in a town where they can't afford because of everything going on. That's sad, and I would have rather have seen what you were going to do moving forward. And if you have big corporations that owe Jackson that much in taxes, why are we allowing them to buy more property in Jackson so that they can owe more in taxes? It's not right. This table, this is concerning to me. I've watched resident after resident after resident come up with papers for things that are on their heart, for their hard-earned tax dollars. Buy a music stand on Amazon, it's $30. Have something for the residents. this table wasn't here tonight, and it's not here most meetings, what were they going to do? Just fumble through their papers? They're actually taking the time to go through to bring these points out. As far as what was pointed out about money being spent, yeah, our budget, I'm sorry, if we can't afford certain motor vehicle things, we got to pull back some of the cars that we're giving out as incentives. If your paycheck is an incentive enough to come work at this town, we don't want you. We deserve better. We shouldn't have to bribe people to come. That's sad. I just don't understand. We're at a point where, and it's really, and I say you guys as the board, I'm not saying every one of you was here at the time, but it's this board that has caused the division in this town with these residents, because things are just not fair. And when does fair become fair? You know, it's embarrassing that our town is now what people look at for not to do. I don't know if any of you guys know, Howell had to shut down their council meeting because of the amount of people that showed up. You know why they're showing up? They don't want to be Jackson. That's a shame, and that's a pity that that's where we're at. And like I said to you guys before, this is our house. You run it. Get it in order. Because you say this isn't about elections. I'm sorry, for me, it seems like it is, because right now, oh, nothing's going to be raised. Well, come next year when you have to backpedal, I just hope I can afford to live in the town.
Thank you. Council,
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have a motion to close?
I motion to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for coming.